Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So, yesterday I was watching the Today Show, and they were talking about 8 white supremacists who are running for public office around the country. Now, during this particular segment on the show, they focused on 2 white supremacists in particular. The first white supremacist is running for a congressional seat in Chicago. This white supremacist wants to make Chicago 90% white. This man views black people as inferior and less intelligent. He talked about how black people score 20% less or 20 points less on IQ tests than white people. This man is one of these Holocaust deniers. He is a neo-Nazi, an outright racist running for a position in Congress. Now, the thing that's so crazy about this situation is this man already won the Republican nomination, and now he's going through a general election campaign. So you have him on one hand, and then you have another anti-Semite who's in California. He's running for the U.S. Senate. This man described Jews as a monster. This man made all kinds of other anti-Semitic and racist statements. So you have these people running for positions of power and influence in the federal government. Now, I want to just take some time to provide my commentary about this situation. The first thing that I will say is this. This is a reminder of just how important elections are. Now, you have some people that only want to focus on local elections and they want to ignore federal elections. They want to pretend like federal elections do not matter. But that is absolutely ridiculous. Do you really want these white supremacists to be in Congress? Do you really want these white supremacists to be in the Senate, making all kinds of decisions that impact our lives, passing laws that impact our lives? When white supremacists are in positions of power, we end up with Jim Crow. That's what we end up with. We end up with second-class citizenship. We end up with black people being segregated and humiliated and oppressed. That's what we end up with when we allow white supremacists to take over the reins of government. And no one who advocates black empowerment should be about that kind of position where you say, well, we don't need to be worried about these federal elections. Do we not realize that federal laws are the laws that give us the right to sue for discrimination, whether we're talking about housing discrimination, employment discrimination, whether we're talking about public accommodations discrimination, whether we're talking about the violation of voting rights? All of these things, all of these rights we have as a result of federal laws. So anyone who tells you that federal elections don't matter, that's someone who is ignorant. That is someone who is uninformed, and that is someone who is not serving the best interests of black people. So again, this is a reminder of how important elections are. We have to do everything in our power to ensure that these people do not obtain political power. So that's the first thing. The second thing is this. This is a reminder of how important intersectionality is when it comes to politics. The same people who hate the Jews hate black people. The same people who hate the immigrants hate black people. The same people who hate Muslims hate black people. The same people that disrespect women are the same people that hate black people. The people that want to take away women's rights, they are the same people that despise black people, who are insensitive to the needs of black people. The same people that hate the homosexuals are the same people that bash black people. And so it's in our interest as a group to work with other groups of people who are targeted by these white supremacists. That is only logical. That is only common sense. The third point that I want to raise is this. We need to stop trying to reason with white supremacists. Stop trying to debate them. Stop trying to have intellectual conversations with these people. Stop trying to appeal to their emotions and their reason, because these people have no conscience. These people have no logic. These people are irrational. These people are power driven. They don't care about you talking about how you're just as intelligent as they are. Like, you have this one reporter, and you'll see it if you watch the segment, who, when this white supremacist said, well, black people are less intelligent than white people, this woman went on to say, well, I went to Harvard. As if this guy is going to be impressed by that. As if this guy is going to change his opinion somehow about black people because you went to Harvard. This man responded, well, you probably were able to go there because of your white heritage, because of your white genetics, because this is a very fair black woman, you know, one of these women who's racially ambiguous. You know, did you have to guess her racial identity? I mean, she could look like a Hispanic, she could be an Arab, she could be anything. I mean, that's how racially ambiguous this particular woman was. And this guy just basically came back and said, it's the white in you. That's why you were able to get to Harvard. And I was surprised that he didn't bring up affirmative action. I was surprised that he didn't bring that up. There's no reasoning with these people. And black people, especially black people on social media and black people in the news, we need to quit interviewing these people, quit trying to debate these people. What we need to do is destroy these people, destroy them politically, destroy them intellectually, and if necessary, deal with them on a physical level if they threaten our lives and our safety. That's what we have to do. Quit reasoning with these people. The next thing I want to say is this, man. This is the fourth point that I want to touch on. And that's that whole pointing the finger at the bad guy syndrome that we see in the Republican Party. The Republican Party often tries to distance itself from these hate mongers, from these white supremacists. They like to say, well, that's the bad guy over there. Just like that segment of the movie not The Godfather, but Scarface, where he says everybody's pointing their finger and they're talking about that's the bad guy, there the bad guy is. When the fact of the matter is, the Republican Party is the bad guy. These white supremacists are the bastard children of the Republican Party. And the Republican Party, just like a man who's had some kind of illicit affair, they're trying to deny their ties to these bastard children, these white supremacists. When the fact of the matter is, the Republican Party and these white supremacists have a symbiotic relationship. All we have to do is go back to the Southern strategy. All we have to do is look at how the Trump administration deliberately pandered to these white supremacists. These are Trump's people, but yet you have these Republicans trying to distance themselves from these white supremacists. These white supremacists are wearing those Make America Great Again hats because they understand that Trump is speaking their language. He is blowing those racial dog whistles, and these racists are responding to those whistles just like a dog responds to a dog whistle. One of the white supremacists talked about how he knew that Trump was low-key talking about Jews when he talked about the globalists. This man is speaking their language. It is no coincidence that the KKK supported Donald Trump. It is no coincidence that the alt-right supported Donald Trump. It is no coincidence that these racists, that all of these white supremacists who are running, just about all of them, are Republicans. That is not an accident. But yet and still you have these delusional Negroes who want to tell you and me that the Republican Party is an alternative for us, that the Republican Party has our interests at heart. How can that party have our interests at heart when it is aligned with these white supremacists? Donald Trump told you where he was on the issue of white supremacy when he stood up and defended those white supremacists in Charlottesville, when he talked about how they were some very fine people. So the Republican Party cannot deny is bastard children, these white supremacists, because they are the Republican Party. The Republican Party has a message that is anti-immigration, anti-Muslim, anti-black, and they want to act all shocked and surprised that you have white supremacists running as Republicans. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Tell me what y'all think. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace.